Announced at CES 2016, we were really looking forward to have the Corsair Carbide SPEC Alpha grace our test labs. After a considerable amount of time of playing around with the cabinet, does the SPEC Alpha justify its price of Rs 6500? Let's find out. The SPEC Alpha comes packed in a regular cardboard box, wrapped in a plastic bag, which is in turn protected by styrofoam on the top and bottom. On the box, you'll find a few features listed and schematics of the cabinet, as is the case with any cabinet. The other contents of the box include the different set of screws separated in different nylon bags according to their sizes and 6 zip ties for cable management. It borrows the design from Corsair's Bulldog Mini-ITX PC, and for us it was also highly reminiscent of the turrets from the video game Portal. The optical disk drive slots or ODD slots have been removed compared to the previous versions of the SPEC line of cabinets. This decision wasn't the company's alone, and in fact the request was honored after feedback from owners of the older SPEC models. The rest of the interiors remain the same compared to the previous SPEC cabinets. It supports ATX, Micro-ATX and Mini-ITX motherboard sizes. The side window panel has a transparent plexiglass panel which doesn't hold up against scratches, so you'll need to be extra careful while handling it. The cabinet ensures all your components are visible if your components have LED lighting, and we're pretty sure that it will look far better with RGB LED lighting. The protruding nature of the window gives you some breathing space to fit in those huge CPU coolers, provided they are not taller than 156mm. Similarly, the same protrusion on the left panel makes it easier to accommodate all the thick cables running behind the motherboard. Both the top and front panels are attached with the main body using locking tabs and screws. To remove the front panel, you need to pull the front piece after unlocking the tabs from the inside. The top panel has thumb screws attached at the back of the cabinet, and after removing them, the panel can be removed by sliding and then lifting off the top. The meshes on the top and front panel don't have any dust filters, and you'll find only one at the bottom, which is easy to remove. The cabinet stands at a considerable distance from the floor thanks to its weird looking feet. If the feet look too alien and don't impress you, then you can buy rounded rubber feet and attach them in the provided mounting holes at the bottom. The front and top panels have an angled design with portions covered with mesh to allow air intake and exhaust respectively. The front I/O includes the power button, 2 USB 3.0 ports, a 3-speed fan controller, mic in and audio out ports, and the reset button. The back panel has a 120mm fan and 7 PCIe expansion slots. The slots are toolless with the thumb screws, but if you're unscrewing them for the first time, you should expect some mighty resistance. You just might have to grab a screwdriver to attach your GPU or other PCIe cards, since there are no locking tabs as seen in truly toolless designs. There are rubberized holes to fit liquid cooling pipes, and at the bottom there's the PSU cage. The thumb screws on the side panels don't fall off their grooves, saving a lot of trouble because it's easier to lose them. This is something Corsair has been doing with their cabinets and should be adopted by other cabinet manufacturers also. The side panel can be adjusted to make it lean against the bottom feet, which is quite helpful if you want to take a quick look inside rather than removing the entire panel. On the other hand, we weren't able to screw in the side window thumb screws on our review unit, and we hope that this problem persists only on this unit. It also made the panel leave a wide gap at the front, making it look defective. The front panel comes pre-installed with two 120mm LED fans with mounting strips that let you move the fans to the top in case you plan on adding a third fan at the bottom. The top panel can house two 120mm fans. The storage cage has 2 SSD brackets and 3 hard disk drive brackets. 2 additional SSD mounts can also be found behind the motherboard plate. If you plan on replacing the stock fans with aftermarket coolers and radiators, or install a third fan on the front panel, or even if you want to install a second GPU which is 380mm in length, you will have to remove the drive cage. While assembling the rig, we didn't have to beat our heads at any point. Attaching the SSD and hard drive was a breeze, since all we had to do was slide them inside the drive cage and they locked onto the tabs. For a cleaner look, we would recommend attaching the SSD behind the plate rather than the drive cage, just to improve cabling. The SPEC Alpha offers a generous number of tie slits and paths for cable management. The cutouts on the motherboard plate are well thought out to aid cable routing to the necessary components from the PSU. but there are no rubber grommets on the cutouts, which is something we expected inside. A CPU power cable couldn't fit through the top right corner cutout, and the workaround was to pass the other end of the cable through the cutout. This holds true for certain PSU cables only. The absence of the optical disk drive certainly improves the airflow, even with the 3 stock fans. In full potential, which is 3 fans at the front, 2 on the top, 1 at the bottom and 1 at the rear, the airflow will immensely improve and make the enclosure far cooler. The SPEC Alpha is a fantastic cabinet when it comes to looks and its price. The quality of the motherboard plate is satisfactory and none of the areas are susceptible to bending. If you spend enough time, you will be able to route all the cables in a way that will ultimately improve airflow while giving it a neat look. We had received the red and black variant, which actually looks better than the black and grey variant, but this is highly subjective to your preferences. If you are looking for a new gaming cabinet and wouldn't mind the absence of the optical disk drive, look no further. So that was all about the SPEC Alpha. I'll be listing down more of the specifications in the description below if you're interested. As for the review, hit the like button if you enjoyed watching the video and let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want more such videos in the future, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. This was Abhijit from Digit and I'll see you in the next one.